In 1984, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, written by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, hit the shelves and proceeded to become one of the world's biggest franchises. That same year, Stan Sakai started publishing Usagi Yojimbo, a comic series that follows Samurai Rabbit Miyamoto Usagi around feudal Japan. Due to Sakai and Laird being friends, in 1987 a crossover was published, and Usagi has been appearing in TMNT media ever since. The thing that happens in many of these crossovers is that Leo and Usagi become really close, and in some versions even besties, but this varies from version to version. Like any pair of friends that continually get adapted over and over again, it eventually led to a lot of shipping. In fact, being one of, if not the biggest non-canon ship in the TMNT franchise overall. But why is it so big? Usagi is not a frequent TMNT character, mostly sticking to his own comic. Most of the crossovers being the turtles go to him, rather than vice versa. Well, it's time to answer that question. And any others I think people might have about this ship.
1, 2, 3, 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
So I'm going to go over every version of the Leo and Usagi relationship, just because people come into it at different points. So how people perceive the ship is dependent on that, which version you come in on, and how you ship it is also dependent on that. So let's start with the first time they met in Turtle Soup number 1, Turtle Soup and Rabbit Stew. Leo magically ends up getting transported into a version of feudal Japan that is much different than his own, finding that there are tiny dinosaurs and anthropomorphic animal samurai attempting to attack him. Meanwhile, rather close by, Usagi is attacked by the Neko Ninja clan and starts to fight them. They both fight their enemies till they're the last ones standing. They believe the other is going to attack them and fight, only for Leo to disappear back to April's and Usagi grumbling about how much he hates ninja. The next time they meet is in Usagi Yojimbo number 10, The Crossing. Usagi tells the tale of another time that he met Leo to some kids. He had come across a priest who he decided to mess with and make him carry across the river. The priest does so only to disappear once they're in the water and cause Usagi to fall in. Usagi is angry, but once he gets to shore is unable to find the priest. The priest then emerges from the water and reveals himself to be Leo, and Usagi references the last time they saw each other. Leo says he's heard of Usagi's alleged swordsmanship, which Usagi takes as an insult, and the two start to fight. They do so for a while till Usagi ends up on his back and in the mud. Leo holds his sword to his neck, only to sheath it and say that Usagi is just as skilled as he's hurt. The two become friends, and present Usagi tells the two kids that Leo was strange, but the two would go on many adventures together in the future. Next time they meet is in Shell Shock, The Treaty. Leo is racing home to get his brother some pizza, only to be randomly transported into Usagi's world again. He sees Usagi surrounded by ninja and goes to rescue him, only for the ninja to disappear. Usagi awkwardly thanks him, and he explains that he is delivering a treaty to Lord Fujitako. Leo wishes his brothers and Master Splinter were there and explains where he's from. Usagi wishes to visit Leo's world, but plans on not staying in the sewer when he does. They're then attacked by ninja and fight them off, only for the ninja to take someone hostage. Usagi trades the treaty, and the ninja disappears, only for Usagi to reveal to Leo that the hostage was his friend Tomo Ayame, and that Usagi was a decoy the whole time. Leo then disappears, and Usagi says that he hates it when he does that. Leo gets home, only for no one to believe him about Usagi. The last time Mirage, Leo, and Usagi would meet would be in Usagi Yojimbo, Volume 2, numbers 1 through 3, Shades of Green. Usagi and Gen are in a village that needs protecting when the leader, Kakura, uses a spell to summon the Ninja Turtles. The Turtles are first on the defensive, but Leo recognizes Usagi, and the two greet each other. The other Turtles are surprised to find that Leo was telling the truth about Usagi. Kakura explains that they need their help, and Leo agrees to do so when the village is attacked. Leo is heavily hurt, and Usagi goes to his side to help. Leo then tells Usagi and his bros that Kakura has been captured. They follow the path to where the ninja village, but Leo needs rest for a moment, and Usagi offers him some water. They get to the ninja village, rescue Kakura, and head back to the village. Leo says it's been fun, and Usagi hopes Leo's wounds heal quickly. They hope to see each other again, and the turtles are sent back home. They never see each other again. Sort of. We'll get to IDW Turtles later. Now we move on to 1987. In Season 3, Episode 25, Usagi Yojimbo, very appropriately titled, The turtles need to get in contact with the neutrinos from Dimension X, and Donatello just has an interdimensional teleporter on standby. I love this show. We then get a look at Usagi's world.
Be warned, you are no match for me.
Oh no. Townsend, please stick to voicing Mikey. Anyways, Usagi ends up hopping through the transporter and starts to fight them. He ends up in a one-on-one fight with Leo, who he compliments on his skills but ends up chopping his sword in half. Michelangelo then takes him out with a pizza. Usagi introduces himself with the wrong name, and Donatello is unsure if he can get him back to his own world. Leo says that they'll need to get Usagi a disguise. They head to Channel 6 where Leo introduces Usagi to April, and then when she says to try Midtown for what went wrong with their portal, Leo pulls Usagi like this.
Thanks.
What warranted this, Leo? They get met by some foot soldiers, which Usagi fights them all off, and Leo explains to him what a robot is. Usagi runs off when he mistakes a motorcycle for a robot, and Leo tells Donnie to get back to the lab while he and the others go and find Usagi. The rest of this episode doesn't matter in the Leosagi of it all. Usagi doesn't end up going back home. Let's go to the next and last Usagi episode, Usagi Come Home. Gee, I wonder what will happen to Usagi. Usagi gets tricked by the Shredder into attacking the turtles, and when he does so, Leo and him get into a skirmish with Leo asking what's gone into him. Usagi nearly gets hit by a car, and Leo tells him to be careful. He then runs into a shopping mall, and Leo says they have to go after him, but Raph stops him. Leo says that because Usagi lives by a strict samurai code, someone must be forcing him to do this, and they have to find out who. They then are able to lock him away as they head off to find out what's wrong. Usagi catches up to them, and Leo says that they will fight him. They fight, and Usagi reveals that he lost a fight to the Shredder, only for them to find out that Shredder cheated. They trick Shredder. Leo helps Usagi at one point. Leo tells him to never trust Shredder, and Usagi says that he won't. Usagi never returns home, and we never see him again. Wow, that episode actually didn't end at how I expected it at all. I thought he would get to go home. Let's just get to the one we're all waiting for now. Don't those couple of seconds just make you feel like you can fight God and win? Anyways, Usagi and Leo first meet during the Big Brawl 4-parter. So Leo is standing around at the Battle Nexus minding his own business when he's suddenly attacked by assassins. They're about to give him a deadly blow when suddenly...
You fight without honor, assassin!
Usagi rescues him. And look at how happy Leo is to be making a friend right now. Appreciate this before the angst arc of Season 4 sets in, guys. They're then attacked again and fight them off. Leo thanks Usagi for his help, and both say that they hope not to go up against each other in the Battle Nexus because they both think that the other are really skilled fighters. They head to the tournament and wish each other luck. They then end up fighting each other in the second round because of course they do. They're having fun this whole time until Leo is shot with a poison dart. He promptly passes out as Usagi looks on horrified. He insists on helping to take Leo to get healed when Donnie jumps in as overprotective little brother. Because Rev's busy, so someone else has to do it. They get transported to a healer where Donnie continues to be overprotective, but Usagi can actually give Leo some healing. Then the daimyo is attacked, and Usagi and Donnie have to defend him. Usagi is about to be killed, but luckily Leo wakes up in time to save him. And after some more plot stuff and Mikey winning the Battle Nexus Championship, which he deserves, Usagi and Leo say goodbye and hope to see each other again. In The Christmas Aliens, the daimyo brings over Gen and Usagi for Christmas.
Kurisuma suome dato, Leonardo-san.
Jason Griffith, I love you. You're my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog, but don't cast a white man to play Usagi ever again. Anyways, Usagi and Leo exchange swords as gifts, and they are very clearly happy about this. Then we get to the Multiverse 5-parter, which is well known for one of the most traumatic episodes in TMNT history, and Donnie really needs therapy. But instead of getting transported to anywhere awful, Leo is instead transported to Usagi's world, where he fights off some ninjas until Usagi arrives. Usagi explains how he needs to protect a lord and says that as they travel, Leo can explain how he got there. Also, they share a horse together. Leo explains the plot that I'm ignoring and remembers that the daimyo might be able to help him get home. Usagi promises to help once they get to the shogun's palace. Then they get word that Usagi's friend Tomoe is alive. Usagi says that Leo's family needs him and that he can't ask for his help, but without hesitation, Leo says that he will. They dress up as ninja of the clan holding Tomoe.
Ninja garb. I feel cloaked in dishonor. We will speak of this to no one.
Wow, just say out loud how you feel about Leo's entire lifestyle. Usagi gets kidnapped. Leo helps him escape. They team up to take down evil lords. All's well that ends well for this adventure. They perform the ritual, and Leo says that he can't ask Usagi to come with, but Usagi says he is coming anyway, and they hop through the portal to the battle nexus. They enter the battle nexus only to find it empty and head to the daimyo. But then the daimyo sets his guards on them, and Leo says that they need to get out of there. They do some cool tricks to jump out a window, and Usagi has to hold on to Leo's leg as he hangs onto the side of the building. Usagi says that hanging out with Leo seems to be turning him more into a ninja than samurai, and the two steal the war staff. Only for it to be revealed that Ultimate Draco has been tricking them the whole time. He then sends them to an arena to fight off some goons, and Leo says that he's sorry for getting Usagi involved in this. Usagi says that it's not his fault, and the two fight off some more goons. More plot things happen that cause them to get transported back to the battle nexus, and Leo is reunited with his family. Leo and Usagi say goodbye, and they're transported home. And now on to the final Leosagi episode, Samurai Tourist. This is happening during Leo's angst arc, which I could provide context for, but all I will say is that he's dealing with PTSD. Leo is angsting when Usagi and Gen arrive. Hey look, Leo is smiling during his angst arc. Then there's an adorable montage of the boys showing Gen and Usagi the city, while Leo is angsty in the background. They return to the sewer where Leo trains early in the morning, only to find that Usagi is watching him. Usagi wanted to speak with Leo alone, as he can clearly see that Leo is being extremely angsty. Leo says that someone has to and asks if Usagi is up for some sparring. They spar as Leo explains all of his angst, and Usagi tells him how his master had been killed right in front of him. They then have a very sweet moment that is interrupted by my little gremlin child. They get attacked by an assassin from Usagi's world, and Usagi tells Leo to be careful, but Leo is all like, I've got a death wish, and they fight a bunch. They both rescue each other during this fight till Kojima is captured. Usagi gets ready to leave and tells Leo that he needs to let go of his guilt, but Leo is gonna continue to be in his angst phase. Also, it turns out Splinter had asked Usagi to come to try and get him out of the angst. And this is the last time Usagi and Leo interact in the series. Usagi has one last appearance in the series finale, please ignore the art shift, and he and Leo do not interact during it. Hold on, wait, right there! That is the last time Usagi and Leo share screen time. Oh wait, I forgot, in the season 4 and 5 intro, when we get to Leo's part, there is a silhouette of Usagi in it. Alright, now that we're done with 2003, on to 2012. You know what? I don't think we interact with the parts of the series that I really dislike in this three-parter. So you might be safe from my side rants. Emphasis on might. So the turtles are suddenly summoned by a wolf who proceeds to mind control them to attack Usagi. They are then transported to Usagi till Leo and Usagi fight one-on-one.
You are not unskilled, demon. A willow branch is thirsty.
I present to you Usagi being voiced by a Japanese man for the first time. Let's keep it that way. Fun fact, John Boyega was actually originally gonna voice Usagi in this. Yes, Star Wars John Boyega, but I'm very glad they went with Yuki Matsuzuki, as he was actually handpicked by Stan Sakai to voice the character. Anyways, the turtles are broken out of their spell, and Usagi explains that the wolf Jay is evil and placed them under one. He invites them to their campfire, and Leo, out of nowhere, just asks Usagi to give his whole backstory. Usagi asks where the turtles are from, and the best they can guess is that they're from another dimension. Usagi says that the monks of Kintaro's order might be able to help them get home, and the next morning they continue their journey. A bunch of plot things happen, and they end up going over the side of a cliff. Leo is mad at Usagi for leading them off of it, and he says this line,
I should have been leading us.
We're at season 5. I really don't want to be dealing with, Leo leader-based plot anymore. The boys try to leave before Donnie and Mikey point out that the only way back home is Kintaro's temple. Leo looks annoyed but gives in to follow Usagi. They do not ask, they just follow.
I'm not reviewing the series right now. I'm not reviewing the series right now. I'm not reviewing the series right now.
And Leo is just mad at Usagi for, like, most of this three-parter.
You better not be leading us into more danger, Usagi!
Sir, you are in his world. He knows it better than you. Stop being dumb. Usagi is also clearly done with him before we're even halfway through this. Usagi has to rescue him like 10 times throughout this whole thing. It gets ridiculous. Leo eventually tells Usagi he's sorry for being a jerk and tells Usagi to rest while he takes first watch. He also offers to watch over Kintaro for Usagi on the last leg of the journey to the monastery. The boys then get mind-controlled by Jay again, but then Kintaro permanently frees them. Leo then gets the idea to trick Jay, and Leo gives Usagi a wink to let him know what's going on before throwing his sword at Jay. Usagi then defeats Jay, returning Leo's sword to him, and the turtles and Usagi say goodbye. Also, Usagi keeps the little turtle figurines that the boys were summoned with, and everyone say aw because I genuinely think that's cute. Now we return to the comics with the IDW turtles meeting Usagi in Namazu. Now, unlike the Turtles, Usagi has never had a reboot, meaning that the IDW Turtles don't meet a new Usagi like all the other versions of the Turtles do. They meet the same one that the Mirage Turtles did. Usagi protects some people who tell him to go and meet Katkara, who requires Usagi's help. However, Usagi will need companions, and Usagi knows exactly who he's referring to and gets some turtles for the ritual. The IDW turtles are summoned, but Usagi doesn't understand what they're saying as they're speaking English. The turtles attack, and it is genuinely so sad to read Usagi questioning why Leo doesn't recognize him, and that he's not him. He just wants answers. Kakura then has a spell to have everyone understand each other, and everything's chill. They have to fight Jay at one point, and Leo and Usagi save each other multiple times during the fight. Problems get solved, and the turtles get ready to go home. Leo hopes to meet Usagi again, and he calls him Buddy, aw, and the turtles get sent back home. There is an upcoming crossover in March, so the IDW turtles aren't done with Usagi yet. But that is it for now. Now we go on to the final version, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Shit, right, I forgot Usagi's not in Rise. But I feel like I would be skipping something if I didn't point out that Rise Leo is like the third gayest thing in all of TMNT media. Right behind actual LGBT characters and whatever it is Krang and Shredder got going on.
1, 2, 3, 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
No, I did not title this section or the video wrong. I just feel like there are certain things I have to get out of the way before I start talking about why people like the ship in the first place. Because like I said, like where you come into Turtle Media is gonna affect how you see this ship and whether or not you ship it. So we're gonna go through each Leosagi ordered by how much I think it is likely that people ship it. From least likely to most likely. Let's go. I would put 1987 at the bottom just because the episodes aren't really about Usagi and Leo. Yeah, they have a few minor interactions and moments, but aside from, Usagi destroying his sword, there's nothing really that big. It's 1987, fleshed out character dynamics for characters who only ever appear twice and never again isn't really their strong suit. Y'all, when I say that this ring light is so bright that I can't even, see the camera, I didn't realize it still worked till I plugged it in. Oh my god. How does anyone work like this? I am taking off my... No, that's a bad idea. I'm gonna say IDW is next. There's nothing really wrong with their interactions. It's just, there's not a lot, and... Usagi's already met the Mirage Turtles, so in the back of your head, you're just feeling kind of sad because Usagi misses his besties. Or his bestie. Let's face it, he's only really friends with Leo. Also, I want the Mirage Turtles to come back just to be friends with Usagi again. I don't want to be sad anymore. Next is 2012. I would actually probably have put this lower, but it's the most recent version of Usagi being in a cartoon with the turtles, so it's the one most people are probably familiar with right now. I kind of hate their relationship in this version. Not from, like, a shipping perspective, just overall, because Leo is just kind of an asshole to Usagi in this version. Like, the first 5 minutes after they're done getting mind controlled, it's, like, fine. But then in part 2, he just does not stop. Which, you know, isn't unlike the 2012 Turtles. 2012 is such a mean-spirited show a lot of the time, and the fact that almost all of their friends and allies were met with a fight is annoying. Like, individually, the way they meet Usagi is fine, but when the past 4 seasons have been them getting into fights with every single person except Mondo Gecko and Renette, it's tiring. I have so many problems with 2012, it's not even funny. Also, this is listed at the top of 2012 Usagi's Turtlepedia page, which is the TMNT wiki. The Ninja Turtles are whisked away to his dimension when he forges a close friendship with them, especially with Leonardo, as they are both level-headed, quick-witted, and highly skilled in the ways of the sword. Close relationship. They're barely friends. Oh yeah, they have a little, like, moment at the end where they're like, we're so close we can call each other brother. Like, no, I don't buy it. Anyways, most likely to ship is the Mirage Turtles because they have very frequent crossovers. You get to see this relationship grow and change. It's a good friendship. Also, you get sad when Usagi meets the IDW Turtles in set. I'm sorry, I'm just so sad about that, genuinely. Now, a bunch of you just went, why'd you skip the 03 version in this section? And anyone familiar with TMNT pre-Rise is going, I know why you skipped it. That's where all the shipping comes from. We'll get to Rise fandom later. And there's a very big reason why this version of them is shipped over the others, and it's not just because of their interactions. Because in the 03 version, Usagi is around Leo's age. He's a teenager. They reference it in the Big Brawl 4-parter. His entire backstory is changed around so that it happened when he was younger. The last time he was at the Battle Nexus was 3 years prior, and he was pretty young at the time. Meaning that when he was there, as a young teenager, the Turtles were either 13 or 14. Again, he's a teenager. Versus all the other Usagis who are adults or at least assumed to be adults. Also, side note about 12, I find it very funny that they were willing to age down pretty much every other friend of the Turtles, but then felt the need to keep Usagi an adult, which is the opposite of 2003. And while the Ninja Turtles aren't always accurately portrayed as teenagers, they're still teenagers. And most of the TMNT fandom doesn't ship the teenagers with adults. I feel like what I just said is untrue, but the age discrepancy thing is kind of becoming a theme in videos I cover for ships, so I want to move on.
1, 2, 3, 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
Okay, so what's the appeal of 03 Leosagi? Well, first of all, Leo doesn't have that many friends in any version. Like, yeah, he's friends with Casey and April and all of their allies, but he's never the closest to them. April's most often Donnie's bestie, Casey and Raft are just a duo, and Mikey makes friends with anyone he has more than 5 minutes of interactions with.
It's what my little Manister society deserves.
I guess Leo kinda has Karai, but most of the time they're enemies / foils, not friends. Even in the 2012 series where she's specifically his love interest. It's a rather complicated situation. Usagi is just one of the few friends Leo can have without an added but to it. They're just friends. And I don't want to spend this entire section comparing, 03 to the other versions, but it's actually really nice that Usagi and Leo don't meet by fighting in 03. Mirage, they fight. 87, they fight. IDW, they fight. 12, fight. So it's really refreshing when you get to see this version, and it starts with Usagi rescuing Leo and them getting along. And yes, that initial intro is also an appeal as well. How many movies and TV shows have we seen that starts with a female character getting rescued by a male one and those two ending up together by the end? It's not the only interpretation of their relationship, but it's just as valid as any other. When talking about their canon interactions, it was actually really hard not to just repeat everything they said verbatim, just because a lot of their appeal is their dialogue and the way they speak with each other. Versus other ships where I can easily summarize their interactions without repeating what they said, part of their biggest appeal is the way they talk to each other.
I have to tell you, Usagi-san, the way you fight, I'd rather not go up against you if I can help it.
The feeling is mutual.
It's just like you said, Usagi-san. We have to fight each other.
Fate often has such a wry sense of humor. Come, let us fight as friends and may the best swordsman win! Glad you are feeling better, Leonardo-san.
Maybe not better, but at least I'm breathing.
It was an honor battling beside you and your brothers, Leonardo. I hope that someday our paths will cross again.
It is I who am honored, Usagi. You saved my life.
Leonardo-san, your family needs you. I cannot ask you to...
Of course I will help you, Usagi. What are friends for? I can't ask you to come with me, Usagi.
You do not have to ask, my brother. I am going with you. As you say, what are friends for?
Usagi, I'm sorry I got you into this.
Do not say such a thing, my brother. I stand by you no matter what happens. You may not have him, assassin! How we deal with them, that is the true test of our character.
I know, but it's just that...
I can't show them all because copyright. Not that Nickelodeon cares about this show at all. They're very gentle with each other in a way that doesn't feel like they're trying to be overprotective or coddling for no reason. Usagi can also be more direct and upfront with Leo, unlike his brothers, as seen in Samurai Taurus, which has Usagi offering Leo something he can try and relate to and help him move on from his angst arc. And it's not controversial to say that Leosagi is one of the more popular fanon ships in the TMNT fandom. Just looking at the AO3 numbers, Leosagi is the second most written fanon ships out of all the tags, besides the ones that shall not be named. If you know, you know. I also think that the count would probably be higher if people just watched O3 again. Just please watch O3. It's really good, except for the last season. If you're gonna watch the last season, just watch the first episode and the last episode. You don't miss much. Also watch Super Quest because it's really funny to watch how 2010 writers believed World of Warcraft worked. Also, the ending is hilarious.
1, 2, 3, 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
This is different than why people don't ship them, sort of. I do have to retread some ground here. Now, there are 3 types of TMNT fans I want to talk about. The first are those who have watched one version and have sought out other versions, but won't go past anything that's not on streaming for movies and television. But they still have their favorites among those. Then there's the fans that have only ever consumed one version and have decided that that's the best version, and that they know it's the best version despite never having seen any other version. And then there's those that are trying to consume all TMNT media, from comics to video games to the anime that's really hard to find to Next Mutation, which is a wild ride from start to finish. You get one guess as to which one I am. And that second group, in terms of transformative fandom, tends to be the Rise in 2012 fans. I'm not saying other fans don't, do this. If they're fans of other versions, there's plenty of O3 fans who won't watch anything but O3. And I'm not saying that every fan is like this, or that they even have to watch other versions of TMNT to be their fans, but It does lead to some confusion when they start interacting with fans of other versions. Leosagi fans know exactly where this is going. There are fans who look at anyone who ships Leosagi and automatically assume that they're shipping Leo with the adult Usagi from the 2012 series, ignoring that most of the shipping comes from the 2003 series where Usagi is a teenager. And I do say most of just because there's someone out there shipping adult Usagi with teenage Leo no matter what. Sadly, this is a thing in fandom, and we can't put a stop to it. If we could stop people from shipping adults with teenagers, there'd be significantly less Teen Wolf fanfiction in the world. But regardless of the canon, there are still many fans that don't know that Usagi is a teenager in the 03 version. Specifically because most people just assume he's the same age as his comic counterpart, despite the references to him being much younger in the 03 version. I've said that phrase so many fucking times. I don't blame them for this confusion. TMNT 03 did not do a great job of portraying the teenagers as actual teenagers, so it's very easy to confuse that one of them might be an adult. Hell, as a kid, I forgot they were teenagers. But most 03 fans will clear up the confusion anytime it comes up. However, the confusion has been happening even more due to the Rise fandom, which is a fandom I feel like more than any other version, except maybe 1987, that refuses to watch anything else TMNT. I'm not saying it's all Rise fans, but it's big enough that I need to address it. Rise fans who were familiar with TMNT or had watched previous versions were aware of Usagi crossovers, and were also aware that this was the only version without them. So they started to create their own art depicting Usagi in the series. The most common trope in this version of Usagi is to just forgo the alternate universe route altogether, and instead make him a yokai from the Hidden City, which would actually work with Rise. Also, I like to think that there's hidden cities all over the Rise planet. That didn't come out right. And that Usagi is just from a different one, specifically the one in Japan. And him traveling to New York is how he meets the turtles. Now, people familiar with the 03 version and making Usagi Rise art started to depict the two in a relationship in their art. Usagi almost all the time being a teenager anyways in the Rise depictions. Which, with the people who don't look back at past TMNT versions, they started shaming people who shipped the 03 version of Usagi and Leo, which led to some very hilarious discrepancies. Because there will be Rise fans who say, I don't ship Leo with Usagi in any other version because he's an adult in every version. I only ship him in the Rise fan art where he's a teenager. I don't know how to explain that you're basically still saying that you ship the adult version of the character. Because they have to realize those fan artists were inspired by the relationship with Usagi and Leo in other versions. It's like saying, I don't ship Batman and Ladybug in canon where Bruce is an adult and Marinette is a teenager. I ship them in the fan fiction where Marinette is aged up to be an adult the same age as Bruce. There are certain things that I found when I did that video on Miraculous Ladybug / Bat Family crossover fanfiction. I didn't like it. Aging down characters to be the same age as the turtles isn't weird to me, only in TMNT. Well, the other versions is a different conversation. Just simply because they were going to be hanging out with the turtles anyways. Luckily, TMNT has never done something like this, just specifically to make characters their love interests. Except for that one time with April. And Kurai. And April again. And Renette. Next video. Now, the confusion over the age thing and people wanting Usagi to be in Rise led to some more confusion when an actual Usagi TV series got released.
So
that would be the picture.
Samurai Rabbit, The Usagi Chronicles is a Netflix series that is meant to follow the descendant of Miyamoto Usagi, Yuichi Usagi. I have not watched this show, but I think it's a little weird that this is the first non-turtle adaptation of Usagi Yojimbo. The best way I can explain it would be if Batman had only ever been adapted to a show up in Superman series, and after that happened a couple of times, they decided to create a Batman series. And instead of going with something like the animated series, they instead went with Batman Beyond. And Batman Beyond isn't a bad series. It would just be really weird if that was the first thing that they decided to go with for adapting Batman instead of something like the actual comics. And that was a problem people were going to have with the Usagi Chronicles regardless of quality. Samurai Rabbit was released in 2022, the second season coming out a month after the Rise movie, and is still ongoing as far as I can tell. You never know with Netflix nowadays. Due to Yuichi, yes, I'm calling him by his family name to simplify things. So editing me here to say that apparently I got it wrong. So, in the Usagi Chronicles, they make it so that Usagi is his last name and Yuichi is his first name. Which is really dumb because Miyamoto is Usagi's last name or family name. His name should be Miyamoto Yuichi then. Being more high energy and closer to Rise's Leo's personality, fans who had been aware of past Usagi's crossovers started shipping them. Which, go nuts, have fun. I've seen crossover fanfiction that makes way less sense. There is nothing wrong with this ship, and it was kind of expected given the similarly timed release and past crossovers. But fans of the ship started coming up with ship names for it before eventually landing on... Do you see how there's about to be problems? Now, different fandoms are going to come up with similar or exactly the same ship names for different ships, leading to many fandoms having to get creative with their ship names because there's like a million different fandoms that have the names Steve, Ed, and Buck, and I'm taking away those names until writers come up with new ones. But it rarely ever happens within the same fandom. People are pretty good at changing a ship name when they realize it's already been taken. People who ship Yuichi and Leo would continually tag the ship as Leosagi, despite the fact that the ship name has been taken since September 2004 at least. But instead of going, oh, this ship name is taken, let's come up with a different one, they continued to do two things. The first was continue posting in the Leosagi tag if it was Leo and Yuichi. This means that you would have to scroll for days, well, not literally, but it felt like it, just to find anything between Miyamoto Usagi and Leo. This happened due to the fact that Rise is very popular right now, and they're kind of overtaking everything TMNT. Nothing wrong with that, we've all been there. Every version has been there. And the second thing that happened was people doubling down on the age discourse. And you've already heard it before. La yada yada, 3 Usagi, teenager, and a yada yada yada. And I find this discourse incredibly dumb and annoying more than anything else for two reasons. One, they continually harass any Leosagi fan, and two, they don't seem to realize that Leo and Yuichi, that ship exists specifically because of Leo and Usagi. Because there's an alternate universe where Stan Sakai and Peter Laird never met, and thus Usagi and the Ninja Turtles never had crossovers. And I don't think people would ship Leo and Yuichi if those Usagi and TMNT crossovers had never happened. Well, they might. I mean, people will ship anything, but it wouldn't be as popular or as well known if they didn't. People got extremely annoyed with the fact that the tag was filled with both ships. to the point where Leosagi fans started offering different ship names, and eventually the fandom did pick one with Leochi. I've also seen Leoichi, but from my scrolling, I think Leochi is more popular. However, this did not solve the two ships, one tag problem, because instead of all switching over to using the ship name Leochi, fans instead started to use both Leochi and Leosagi for Leo x Yuichi. See, the problem might actually be worse right now. And I get it, there's alternate names for ships, but there's a reason those alternate ship names were brought up, specifically to stop the tag clogging. Guys, come on. The worst part isn't actually the double ship tagging, it's the double name tagging. Because somehow in all of this confusion, some people got the idea of, wait a second, the best way to solve this is to just tag both Miyamoto Usagi and Yuichi Usagi in fan art and fan works. Thus, people can choose which Usagi that is in the art, and everyone's happy. Leosagi shippers were not happy with this. Miyamoto Usagi fans in general are not happy about this. Now you have to scroll through to find anything that isn't double tagged. And I would like to say to fan artists, Leosagi fans can tell when it's something inspired by Yuichi rather than Miyamoto Usagi. We've gotten very good at being able to tell the difference. No one's going to be mad if you just tag your art as one ship. In fact, people will be happier that way. All that's going to happen with you double tagging is that you're going to get blocked by people who are annoyed by it. The whole logic sounds like if you had Robin/Connell fan art and tagged it as both Tim Drake and Jason Todd and decided, hey, everyone can decide which Robin it is to try and make people happier. Or if you tag Spurk fanfiction as both TOS and AOS and then bring up the fact that, Kirk has blue eyes. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? There's a bunch of non-nerds watching this just going,
What are you two fucking talking about?
The worst part is going into the Miyamoto Usagi tag and mostly just seeing Yuichi. It's probably already annoying if you just like Usagi Yojimbo and not Ninja Turtles and you already have to see all the Ninja Turtles stuff in there. But imagine if it's just also, hey, here's this different bunny guy. I know you wanted your original bunny guy, but here's a different bunny guy. Because you don't want to watch Samurai Chronicles because you just like the comic. And before anyone goes, well, that's just Tumblr. No, it's also AO3 and Twitter. It might be other social media sites, but those are the only other two I use. And this last one, y'all got no excuse for. Everything else I can get into the mindset of, or at least see why it happens, even if I don't like it. But this is just dumb. There are Rise fans who believe that Usagi is an OC. An OC is an original character typically put into fan works, created by a fanfic author or a fan artist that wants to put a new character into a certain world. Think everyone's Sonic character they made up in the early 2000s, I'm assuming. I was 5 then. So there's a good chunk of Rise fans who believe that Usagi is just someone's super popular OC that everyone's been shipping with Leo. I'd say Stan Sakai is turning in his grave, but he's alive right now. Like I said, there are Rise fans who refuse to go back and look at other TMNT media, so much so that they can't even be bothered to look at the wiki. So they've been living under this OC assumption, and then started creating their own Usagis. Technically there's nothing wrong with that, but they're all called Usagi? And aside from the fact that Usagi is the given name or first name, and Miyamoto is his family name or last name, I don't know, this just might be Western fandom not understanding Japanese naming conventions. Also, Usagi is rabbit in Japanese, So everyone's just creating a bunch of OCs named Rabbit over and over again. It'd be like if the Puss in Boots fandom started making a bunch of OCs named Perrito, not understanding that that's just Spanish for puppy. Although there really is no excuse for this confusion, because you want to know why? Google fucking exists! You can type in Usagi, and it's one of the first search results to show up! Did y'all just click on a tag, and when you saw it was mostly fan art, just assume it was an OC? Is this where all the double tagging comes from? I think that clarifies everything. Oh, also, Nickelodeon does not own the rights to the Usagi Chronicles, so have fun writing as much fan fiction as you want of Yuichi meeting the turtles, but legally it'll never happen if Rise comes back. That's it.
1, 2, 3, 4, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles!
So if I made this video prior to 2022, I think it would be shorter. To the point where I probably wouldn't have made it. Oh, my water bottle! Like, at best, you got the age discourse, which only happens because people don't know that 03 Usagi is a teenager, and most 03 fans will correct that anyways. It's just kind of the burden you carry when you reach season 2, episode 23 of TMT 2003, The Big Brawl, part 2, and Usagi saves Leo for the first time, and they proceed to fall in love. But Samurai Rabbit made me feel like I had to clarify things, so this video actually got made. What conclusions can we have about this ship? Well, 1, if you ship this ship based on the 03 version, be aware that not everyone knows that 03 Usagi is a teenager in that version. Everyone comes to this franchise in different places, and not everyone is gonna go back and watch 2003. Maybe if they did, Nickelodeon would start mining me for nostalgia and start referencing that this show exists again. 2. If you ship Leo and Yuichi, please tag it Leochi and not Leosagi. The ship tag is full of both pairings, and I think we can all agree it'll be better if things get cleared up more. 3. Please don't tag things with both Yuichi and Usagi. You can ship both, but if you're making fan content, just pick one at a time. It makes the tags cleaner and doesn't make people who are just looking for one frustrated. And 4, and this is just to the Rise fandom, please use Google. It's your friend. Bing is also an option. There's a lot of search engines out there. In the alternate universe where Rise does eventually get picked up, I want Leo and Usagi to meet in the exact opposite way that 03 Leo and Usagi met. Like, I want Usagi to be getting attacked and for Leo to save him, and they have some parallel dialogue, and I think it would be so cute. I can literally imagine the TikTok edits where they like smash their two meetings together side by side, and then finally I will see some worth in that app. Thank you all for watching! Which Usagi do you ship Leo with? Are you excited for the Usagi TMNT crossover comic coming out in March? How much hope do you have left that Rise will come back and do an Usagi crossover? Let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well, as getting me to 1,000 subscribers will mean I will do an Earth 27 live stream. Yes, TMNT fans, you should be interested in that. Also, is the background too much? I might have gone a little overboard. These might be, like, should I turn them off at least? Like, the blue, I'm not sure if I feel it. Like, feedback, give me some of that. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.